Hello, Fred Ack here. Fred ACC, all one word. Alrighty, it is Sunday morning, July the 13th. XRP is at about $2.76. It's about 7:38 a.m. Had a lot mulling around on my mind, so I wanted to get on here and post some stuff for you guys. Today it's XRP, and it's trading crypto. First up, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. And I'm sure for those of you who are along for the ride to riches, and you own XRP, things are starting to look up. That's fantastic. If you've been following XRP and the Fred Ack postings, you've been able to listen to my different blah 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 about why XRP seems like it's going to go higher. Well, I'm going to extrapolate a little bit more on that. And I'm not on here to tell you what you want to hear. As all of you know who subscribe, and you've listened to some of the Fred Ack postings, and they probably become somewhat monotonous. But I've posted many solid reasons on why I believe XRP is going to go a lot higher. With all that being said, we got Crypto Johnny and Crackhead Crypto and Smoke and this crypto and that crypto, Grandma Crypto. Everybody's got a crypto opinion. And they're all looking for subscribers. That's fantastic. It's capitalism at its best. They want you to come along with them. And I've noticed on YouTube, you can find people that are on here that are going to tell you everything and anything that you want to listen to. How do I make money? How do I find love in my life? How do I do this? How do I do that? I want this. I want that. There's somebody on here to tell you for everything you want to know about. Just subscribe to their channel, help them make money from this, because it seems like many of these ones on here that I look at, this is their livelihood, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. They're selling the t-shirts or the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. Go down below, click the link, you get a discount if you buy this or buy that. And they're a part of, I don't know, Walmart or Caesar's Palace or something or other or whatever. As I've put on my postings many times, I will never sell your soul nor my soul without you guys knowing what's going on. You'll be in the loop. If I had the strong subscriber base, I'd reach out to somebody in the crypto trading world and tell them, you take care of my people and I'll post your stuff on my site. But I'm not going to post something on here that's you're taking advantage of. No, I'd be selling my soul for me to make money. Don't need to do that. I've got XRP. And I wouldn't do it anyway. But as I have professed on here many times, knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have. And so I hope you subscribe. And if you do, it's garbage in, garbage out. You listen to what a Fred Ack's posting. Here or there might be a little nugget of information that makes a little bit of sense. Both S-E-N-S-E and C-E-N-T-S sense. Alrighty, we're going to try to keep this somewhat short and not blabble on and on and on. Let's get to the important points of today. XRP is on the move. Okay. I'm not redboarding it, but if you look back 2-3 weeks ago, I started pointing in the direction that it looked like a movement was coming. Why did I think that? Volume. I've posted my opinion. It's just my opinion that volume is your best friend when it comes for prognosticating the tea leaves, looking at what's happening in front of you and making an educated decision, wager, gamble, whatever you want to call it, investment, on what I think is going to happen in the near future. For example, it looks like a sunny day today. Blue skies. I'll make the assumption that for now, it's going to be a nice morning, weather-wise. Now, if we were out in the ocean in a small boat, that could change in 10, 15 minutes. Go from being the best day out there to fighting for your life. I understand that. But we're basing these things on the totality of the circumstances. Part of the totality of the circumstances was the volume surges. Now I'm looking at these 1-minute volume spikes. I don't know, 2 weeks ago they were, I'm seeing 50 million range, 60 million tokens, coins, whatever of XRP trading through at $2.31, 27 cents. Numerous large trades. Some kind of movement is going on. Now, I'm a New York City cynic, and I've told all of you that, so I don't just swallow hook, line, and sinker everything that I see. I question everything. Do I know 100% that these things are factual? I kind of don't. I'm assuming that they somewhat are. I'm hoping that these large trades that are going through on these large volume amounts are actually at those prices. It's not regulated, so I don't get to really know. Whereas if I look at like a certain stock like Apple or Nvidia or any other stock, I'm going to get into that in a moment, I have a stronger sense of the validity of what I'm looking at. Still, I tend to question everything that comes my way. And I suggest that to all of you. Whether it's your brother-in-law, your sister, your best friend, your neighbor, Fred Ack, whoever it might be, you gotta do your homework. You gotta do your homework. You gotta check things out. Fact check. See what's really going on. Everybody can talk about everything. And many of them do. I watch some of the crypto hopiums that are out there. My worry was that they would wear you down. If you have a game plan, and you're making profits, and you think that it's time to move to the sidelines, nothing wrong with that. I would suggest not getting out of everything you have, that's for sure. I'm not getting out of any of it. I see more of a surge coming. Why wouldn't I? There's not a downturn happening with this. In fact, the volume spikes have gone over 100 million token coins, whatever these XRPs are. Numerous. I see on the 1-minute chart on Yahoo, Yoo-hoo, whatever, on the finance page, I put up XRP from the crypto, from crypto, the drop down of crypto. To me, it would look like if those are valid, and they probably are, there's a tremendous amount of accumulation going on. Now, if these trades are valid, this is not the Fred Acts of the world. I'm not buying 110 million of them. I wish I could wheel and deal with those kind of numbers. Yeah, maybe one day. That's a lot of money. 110 million at $2.72, 90 cents. A lot of accumulation going on. Something's afoot. Where are these coming from? There are so many questions that I have. Why? Well, I'm glad you asked why. If any of you have any insight to any of the head honchos at the Ripple company, because I certainly don't with my 3,000 subscribers, it's a small merry band of future millionaires, and I'd love the comments from you guys. Absolutely love subscribe, the likes button, smash the likes button, smash the don't likes button, whatever you got. Get a new t-shirt, get another haircut, do this, do that. Love it. You guys are great. Love the comments from people on the four corners of the globe, and I'm hoping are going to be coming along for the millionaire ride. And I do think that it's coming. It does seem like it. As I've posted many times, this is going to come down to, is there a use case scenario for these things, which I believe there is. Something's going to evolve. The globe is going to gravitate to something. Something is going to become the go-to future currency of the globe. Makes sense. Can't have stuff taking 2.5, 3 days to clear, go through the systems for the kinds of costs that are incurred. But there's another side to the coin. The Swifts, Western Unions of the world, all these food stores that have all kinds of versions of send money, Walmart, they got to make money. It's all about making the monies. They're not going to do it for free. They're not altruistic. It's like, oh, I really care about all of you sending money to Cuba or Guatemala or Brazil or wherever it might be. They don't give a rat's buns. What they care about is, are we making money from it? Well, how are they going to make money on something that's only going to cost a couple of pennies and it's going to happen instantly? They're going to figure out a way, that's for sure. Going to figure out a way. And what it's all going to come down to is probably there are so many different potential transactions. Real estate, taxes, this, that, disability checks. I could go on and on. It's endless. Gift cards, da da da. So if there's a small little morsel on that for the big money people, times that by 50 billion an hour, 50 billion morsels, 500 billion morsels per hour, it adds up. It was Carville that said it. A billion here, a billion there. After a while, it starts to add up. Well, let's just look at our deficit. It's insanity in itself. I've posted on why I think there's an epic collapse coming, but I don't see that affecting the crypto world or whatever gravitates, if it's XYZ, if it's XRP, if, when. Try to use if, when. I think all the rails are in place, but I'm bouncing around a lot. If anybody has a cup, an ear to the Ripple company, and they can get me some kind of a short podcast or something with somebody there, Brad or Steve or whoever runs the show over there, I could come up with a list of clarifying questions that would be very, very helpful to the whole XRP. It would just kind of seem to me like they really don't want to engage that kind of stuff. Why, I don't know. It'll all come out in the wash somewhere down the road, but not right now. Let's get back to XRP. So here's what I saw. You go back and look at the, I don't remember the name of it, what I put on here. Today it's going to be XRP Trading Crypto. That's what this is going to be called. June 27th, I think it was, that I came up with, there's a 2X ETF. XXRP is the symbol. This is an exchange traded fund that trades on the financial markets. It comes under the guise of being best price. There's a bid and an offer, and they have to adhere to that. It's regulated. The crypto world is not regulated, as best as I know, but the exchanges are regulated. What that means is that if you put a bid out there and the stock trades lower than that, you have to be done because somebody didn't get the best price. Somebody that was selling either at the market, or if you put in to buy the XXRP, making these numbers up, $22.62, and it's bidding $22.65, the next thing you know, you see it's bidding $22.53. The offer is $23.59. You have to be done. Somebody did not get the best price that was selling their particular shares of that ETF. And that's what's in place on the stock exchange. Best price. So I was looking at the ETF when it was $23.70, right around there. Fine. What I'd noticed was that this had been started, this ETF, in early April. May 11th, May 12th, XRP had a surge up to $2.48, $2.50, $2.52. This particular ETF, which is a 2X, is supposed to be 2X, 2 times the movement of the XRP token, coin. So on a spike up move, back on May, you look at the charts, go back and look at the 3-month chart, take a moment, do a little research, check out FredAC. When the price did surge up, on XRP around May 11th, May 12th, the ETF XXRP had a surge up to like $41. So my thinking was that this could become something for me to think about getting involved with as a day trading vehicle. I know that I'm going to get best price. I know how the game's played. That game I've played for many, many years. And I'm going to start to share that with all of you out there. And I'm going to be straight up and tell you it is a very tough game because you're playing with real ammunition. It's one thing for the person who tells me, and I use a lot of analogies to transpose the ideas from my head over to your head. Oh, gee, I go to the target range. I could shoot bullseyes or dead center on that target right between the eyes. Well, that's one thing. But it changes when people are shooting back at you. So when you get involved with the financial markets, trading in the trading world there, it's real money. There's games within the game. And I'm going to start to share all of that with you guys out there. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have. So I got involved with this XXRP as it was starting to surge upwards a little bit. I put a bid in, $23.66 on my IRA. I posted this in the past. I'm not redboarding this after it's already happened. A little bit I am because I sold it on Friday. I got in it, 350 of them at $23.66. XRP started to have a surge last week, moving upwards past $2.50, $2.55, $2.60. And my ETF XXRP is not staying current with it. It's not rising as much as I thought that it would. So I'm like, I really don't like this. Is it the 1.89% fee that they're charging to run it? I don't know. I just don't know. My game plan was expecting that XRP with the volume spikes was going to have a bit of a surge upward, and that I could make 6, 7, 8 points on this thing here, and I'd be very happy with that. But then I noticed as I was considering possibly going to the sidelines with those volume increases above 50 million, starting to be up towards 100 million within a minute, numerous trades, a lot of accumulation, something's afoot, something's going on. These are numbers we haven't seen. Look at the 3-month chart on XRP. Look at the volume surge that we've had. And if you look over the last 8, 10 years with the monthly charts, every time there's volume surges, XRP moves up. Somewhat of a no-brainer. If you told me there's going to be a huge spike on a certain day of volume, I'd be like, oh, if that's going to come true, I want to be in on it to the long side, to going up, going back to the XXRP. What I've noticed about this is that the volume, I'm starting to watch this on Friday, and I'm looking at the average trading volume on this ETF, XXRP, and it's usually somewhere around 500,000 shares that trade, slushing around. Fine, that's not a lot. Not a lot in the big picture of the Wall Street world. I mean, you look at stocks like Apple, AAPL, or MSFT, Microsoft. These are the big name players. These are the ones that the day traders are gravitating to. They're in and out many, many times throughout the day. I used to be one of them. Someday I'll be back to that. And I'm going to start to show all of that to all of you guys. My gut feeling is that if I posted something on here that said, I'm giving away $20 bills for free, I'd have tens of millions of people coming on here. If I was streaming that, the thing would probably explode to the point that it won't even function. That's how many people you'd have. Anything that you're giving away free money. That's what my concern is that the day is going to come where I'm probably going to have to limit the amount of people that are in on the FredAx site, which I have said, for those of you, I'm going to come back to the July 11th postings, and I'm going to look at them all, and everyone who sends a message that says, FredAx, I want in, I'm going to grandfather those people in so you can keep on watching for free. Why do I say all this? Because there's the potential that with too many people involved, it'll kind of have a counter effect to what's going on. And I'll explain more of this in the near future. So the small group of people that are following the Fred Act tutorials, and when we start the day trading streaming, and we're giving away $20 bills, everybody's going to want in on that. Well, if there's just too many millions and millions of viewers, that's probably not going to be the best thing. So it'll become counterproductive. You're going to have to figure out a way to limit all that. And there probably is. I'm not a YouTube. Technology's not my niche. But send a message that says, Fredak, I want in, and you'll be grandfathered in. Absolutely. And I'm not doing that to juice the algorithms. I haven't made a penny from any of this. I probably don't even know what the hell I'm doing. But I know my XRP is going to start taking off. Then I'm going to be sitting pretty. Let's get back to the XXRP ETF. So, it's on a surge up, but I don't like how it's not keeping pace with it. And this is a very important trading concept. Let's say the stock market's up 1,000 points. The NASDAQ is up 200 points. You have to keep those in commensurate percentages towards the NASDAQ. The S&P 500 is 500 stocks. The Dow is 30 stocks. So it could easily be skewed by one particular stock that's having a large move. The Dow could be up 400 points. The NASDAQ could hardly be up. And there's days where the Dow is up. The NASDAQ and the S&P are in the red. They're slightly down. Something in the Dow, one of those 30 companies, probably has news that's affecting it to be to the upside, and it's skewing the Dow to being up 180 points, while the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are slightly negative. They're in the red by a little 0.11% of 0.1% or something like that. Those are the days that I say, sit on the sidelines, stay with your hands underneath your two thighs, don't go near the keyboard, because it's not easy to do. It's like video crack. The game is right there. There's all this money slushing around. It's so easy to think. I think. And we'll go into all of that theory down the road at one point, but not right now. Right now, I'm trying to keep this short and sweet to the point on the ETF. So I've noticed that with this large ETF with limited amount of shares that trade, but on Friday there was over, this was about 10:30 in the morning, there was over 1 million shares had traded. I also noticed the bid and the offer, the spread, the amount of the bid and from the offer you could take from the offer instantly. Just hit the button at the market. I strongly suggest, if you're buying at the market or selling at the market, to put it in with a limit price of where it's at or a penny below. That way, if you don't get done, you're guaranteed to either, if you're selling it at, let's just say, I'm making these numbers up, it's bidding $41.03, it's selling at $41.29, and you want to buy some of this at the market. Don't put it in at the market, because if somebody takes out that $41.29 offer instantly with a market buy, and on a thinly traded entity like this, if somebody goes in to buy 5, 6, 7, 8, 12,000, it could run right up. You could be a split second behind them. You could be buying yours at $41.60. And you didn't want that. You wanted the 41. You were expecting $41.29. So go with a limit price. A limit buy of $41.29, which is where the offering is at. Because that way, when you hit the button, if that offering is still not there, if somebody just took it out, then you don't get anything. And that's fine. You'll become the highest bidder at that price because you're trying to buy at $41.29. So I noticed how, and it's probably done through algorithms, and it's probably done trading algorithms, but I noticed that while XRP's price is fluctuating, little movements up, little movements down, so is the movement in tandem, matching stride for stride with the ETF XXRP. But if you try to bid a penny higher or try to sell a penny lower than what's there, instantly someone moved right in front of you, especially when the spread was 18 cents, 22 cents. There were decent sized spreads in there. So you had to be a little bit on the proactive side, the thinking side. You're trying to play the game within the game. So I was happy to get out. I'm thinking if there's an upsurge here, I'll put my $3.50 to sell at $41.68, which would be a very nice profit from my $23.66 purchase some 2 weeks earlier, the 27th of June. This was at about 10:50, about 10:46 a.m. East Coast time on Friday. You go back and look at the daily chart for that day. If there's time and sales, if you have access to that, you could probably see my $3.50 as it went. I think it was broken up into a couple of small pieces because it's not actively, rapidly trading. See, these big name stocks that are trading 150, 200,000 shares per minute, those are the ones, they're just, the movement of the bid and the offer is incredible. And we're going to go into that in detail in the near future. Understanding the game within the game, it's an important aspect. Let's stay focused on where we were at. So I put mine in before it even came up to those prices. Before it even came up. Oh, bugs are trying to bite me over. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the morning bugs, they got to eat too. I'm not a tasty one. So I put mine in $350 to sell with a limit price of 41.68. And I put it in while it was trading in the low 41s. And I'm like, the next spike up on the XRP token coin, this is going to rise up to me and they're going to take me out. And that did happen. It went a whole lot higher. Sure, I would have probably been happy a week or two ago to have made 8-9 points on it. But as a thinking, trading person, you have to take the totality of the circumstances of what's going on in front of you. Everything through Thursday and early Friday morning was pointing to this thing going higher, this XRP. So why would I limit myself on Wednesday to a 9-point profit when I could potentially get a 17-point profit, or who knows that much more? I'm going to take what they're giving. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense. Okay, so back to the why. Why are these things happening? Well, if anybody has any insight or any clarity or any connections with Brad or Steve or whoever else runs Ripple, by any which ways means, if you could get me an audience with them, I can come up with 6-7 clarifying questions, transparency questions that would give me a tremendous insight to where this is all going in the near future. Which to me, with all the accumulation going on, it looks like it's going to the upside. Yellow! Tune into those things. So I got out of my ETF, my 350 of them, and I have noticed that with a 4, 5, 6 cents swing, 10 cents move on XRP, this ETF can move by $1, $1.50, $2. The volume is not there, but the volume may start to pick up. Volume is your best friend when it comes to buying and selling things. So I'm not keen on being involved with something that average volume is 500,000 a day, 1,000,000 shares a day. That's not a lot. I'm usually looking for things because I can play the game much more precisely with large volumes. As you will all see, one of these days I'm going to gravitate from a cell phone sitting underneath an umbrella by the pool. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to show on here and post and not post. Don't want to break any rules. Don't want to get kicked off because then there'll be no more Fred Acts. Okay, a lot of different stuff going on. It's going to be a very interesting week. Trying to look for some kind of correlations between Saturdays and Sundays, daytimes, night times, times of the day. Is there opportunities to make monies All that being said, I want to thank you all for being here. I'll try to keep posting in the very near future. May all your days be winning ones. Thanks for coming by. Subscribe. Knowledge is